are today. Good to have you guys back. This is Moving the Needle with Seattle-based electronic quartet that blends elements of trance, rock, and disco. Seattle-based area Tryin. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having us.
Doing good, thank you.
So you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
All right, my name's Tanner. I play guitar in Tryin.
My name's Max Rosen. I play keyboards in Tryin.
My name is Dylan Darty. I'm a collaborator with trying to help with booking and production.
He also plays guitar.
Hell of a guy.
And you guys are going to be playing today, well, not today, but on the 16th at the Nectar Lounge?
Yep. We will be, yes.
Nice. So, how did you guys come together? Like, what was like the origin of this band?
Well, in Seattle, we all know there's a great, jam scene here. So, we all down the street here in the U District, there's a bar called the Blue Moon Tavern. And on Mondays, there's a guy named Andy Coe who has a great band. He probably does one of the best, tributes to the Grateful Dead. And so it was around Christmas time, and I went to one of these shows and always wanted to hang out with this guy. So I live here. Max is from Boston, so he doesn't have family here, but I do. So we went to go hang out at our friend Frankie's house, and it was after Christmas, so we're all just getting pretty nutty. And then we made up this band. Max, I had acoustic guitar. My friend Frankie Epstein was one of the original members, a good friend of ours. And so we're all sitting down, we're just jamming, and it just, kind of sounds like shit. Most of the time it does. But Max, two acoustic guitars. Max was on like a Casio piano the size of my shin.
It was battery powered. Had like some like double A battery.
Built-in speakers, exactly. And so my buddy Frankie, who is actually, we should credit to coming up with the name, he goes, yeah, we should just call ourselves Tryin, because if anybody's like, you guys sound like shit, he's like, hey man, we're trying. But so that was actually the first birth of Tryin. And then I was turning 26. It was my 26th birthday party. And so we got our friend together. We got a couple of our friends together, and it was a onesie party. We built a stage out of pallets and just wrote like 2 songs and then literally played all night. A couple of our friends that's still not in the band at all, but that's pretty much the origin of it.
Well, actually, let's rewind because me and Tanner met at another friend's party. They were throwing a sure if it was I think it was actually Christine's birthday party. And Tanner had a solo project. I was in music school at the time.
Moose Tears.
And so I was really into recording, and Tanner's playing this like barn or shed basically, and I recorded him. And that's where we first met, and then we became good friends after that, and then that eventually led to us, hanging out on that Christmas or New Year's or whatever it was. Both times there was a bunch of LSD involved.
Christmas 2015. I think that was when that's the origin.
And then I ended up moving in with Tanner once me and my ex broke up, and we would kind of like go upstairs and jam. We had like a little jam space, and then we got invited to play a open mic at Molly McGuire's, which is over near Ballard. And then so we had like a duo thing going on there for, I don't know, about a year or so. And sometimes we would get people to come and sit in.
Hey, don't forget the drum machine on that Yamaha piano.
Yeah.
Solid.
So you guys didn't have a drummer?
No.
You guys used the drum synthesizer?
Yeah, but it
keyboard?
Worked. That's the thing, though. It worked.
Yeah.
And because everybody just fell off after that party, and like Max was saying, let's rewind. We're space cadets, so we're gonna be coming back in 2 weeks earlier on some things, but. Yeah, me and Max, we went over to his house. We set up everything in our living room, everything we had, and we just, we took some took some mushrooms, and we literally played for like almost 6 hours. 6 hours, and we just and there's
And that's why I recorded that too.
yeah, and it's a song called Spiral, which is
Fan favorite.
On
that's
your first album?
that's the first song.
Yeah.
We don't have albums. We just have live shows. So you can check out all of our live stuff on Tryin. Max, why don't you help me out with that?
Yeah, give me the link so I can put it in the description.
So archive.org, which is like a community-based
Repository.
yeah, it's like an archive where people can upload, like basically whatever they want. But a lot of people that are into the jam band community upload live shows, like a lot of tapers, and if the band wants to, you can upload like a soundboard of your show. When I was a kid and I was first getting into like this type of music, I used to go to that website all the time just to listen to like bands that I was interested in and like listen to our live shows, because I mean live shows that's kind of our thing. Like we don't have an album yet, we're working on it, but we're every single show we play is completely different. So
Always, yeah, and that's honestly like what made it so special, because I was so new to the jam scene, seeing Fish in 2013, which was also Dylan's first show, a big jam.
Another East Coast based band.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, amazing band. Still relevant. Still selling out venues. Max's family has been involved in seeing shows of those variety for years and years, in which it honestly is like a huge conduit. Max is a huge conduit to like just music in general. And that's really like, well, yes, definitely. And it's just like what you go anywhere, you're gonna know somebody's gonna know this guy. Yeah. It's crazy. It's anywhere you go, anywhere in this country, or his sister, or his dad, who just passed away, and rest in peace, Stanley. But it's just it's like really important to have people like him around, and it's like when we made this band, it was really challenging to me, because I was taught by my friend who went to Cornish. I didn't have the money to go, but I helped him out, and he helped me out with information like that. But nobody does it like Dylan said it the other night. Nobody does it like this guy. And so,
well, hold on, let me add a caveat to that.
Yeah, but
both me and Tanner are ear trained for the most part. Like we've had mentors that have helped us, understand music, but we both learned music by listening to it, and then trying to replicate that. And we can write music, but like we like to have some fluidity and like lucidity to our music, where it can change at any moment. Like we don't really stick to a structure for about 80% of our song. We have choreographed parts of our songs, but then we leave some part of it to open-endedness every single time.
Okay.
Which is really a great way to describe what we are.
Yeah, leaving that room for improvisation is one of my favorite aspects of Tryin shows as an audience member.
Yeah. Honestly.
So you guys are Seattle based. You do present yourselves as a local band, but you guys aren't from the area. You guys are from
I am from Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a local.
Dylan's from Seattle. I moved out here in 2011 with my ex, who went to Bastyr. We were living in Boston, then we moved to Maine, and then she got accepted at Bastyr, and that's kind of how I got out here. And then I just moved to Seattle. What's that? 12 years ago, and I can't leave. I love it out here.
Oh, it's a phenomenal city. So, what was like the story of you guys coming together? Like, how did you guys form as Tryin? How did you guys meet?
Well, so Tanner kind of alluded to that, but I think the biggest aspect of it is he was talking about the Blue Moon Indie Co., which is he does the Grateful Dead tribute and stuff. And
every Monday it's free.
Yeah, every Monday, Blue Moon, it's free. Come check out Indie Co.
He's playing after us on Friday at the Nectar Lounge.
Yeah, Dead of Winter's coming up at the Nectar.
And go to the Nectar Bar. It is a phenomenal venue.
Yeah, Nectar Lounge.
Go to the Nectar Lounge.
Yeah, it's all our favorites.
In Fremont.
So I think
the best.
all of us had these musical interests, and we gravitated to these places, and that's where we really met and forged these friendships. Really through the music. And so, from my perspective, Tryin is really an extension of the jam band scene, where it's the Grateful Dead, Fish, Disco Biscuits, String Cheese. There's a place where all these people are gathering, and that's where we make these connections, make these friendships. That's, I guess, sometimes turn into rad bands like Tryin.
And you guys would like credit those bands as your major influences, like things like
Yeah.
Fish. And
It's easy to listen to types of bands like that because then all you can do is just do your best.
yeah, those kind of like disco funkadelic style bands of the 80s and 90s.
Improvisation.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all very involved, especially in the Fish community. You know, it's our favorite band. We go see them every chance we get. They're coming
our
to
world.
Seattle, actually.
Yeah, and they're still touring after all these decades.
40
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
40 years.
I've seen them.
40 years.
I've seen them over 100 times. They're my favorite band.
100?
You've seen them over 100 times.
113.
Wow.
113.
And it's so funny because like Fish does have like a strength, even though they are a Jersey-based band, they do have that.
Vermont.
Vermont, yep.
Vermont.
Vermont.
Oh, I apologize. Sorry, sorry, Fish fans. The Vermont based, but 2012, 2013, when Russell Wilson, at that time the quarterback of the Seahawks, they do have a song named Wilson,
Yup.
and that
Dun
was
it.
like,
Dun it.
Wilson. So it really was interesting to see a band so far away geography wise make a connection with this city, and also like their vibe and their genre also very much resonates with this area of the country. So
It's funny. It's funny you said that they backed the St. Louis Blues when they won the Stanley Cup, and they were playing. they played Gloria, which is the St. Louis Blues
they
song.
really? They did a
Yeah,
cover of Gloria?
and they won. And
Nice.
so it's like
Well,
if
Gloria's
Fish touches
a
it,
Yeah.
Well, so in 2013, Trey Stasio, his side project, played at the Moore. I was at that show, and he came out the last 3 songs. He's a solo acoustic. It comes out. He's just like, I can't remember what Trey's favorite football. Trey's really into sports, but he comes out. He's just like, I think Russell Wilson has some chops. I think that he's like, I think they can make a run for it. He's like, I'm dedicating this one to Russell this year. And that was like before, that was like maybe midway through the season. That was in like, man, it was probably like 3 or 4 months before the Super Bowl, and then the Seahawks
2013
won.
Super Bowl 48.
Yeah. And then the Seahawks won, and then Fish played the Gorge that same year in 2013, and Trey came out the first night, I believe, and he was wearing
gave him a shirt.
Yeah, he was wearing a Russell Wilson's jersey, and he comes out, he's like, I told you guys, and then they go right into Wilson again. He's like, I know you guys all know this song, but it's like talking to the Fish, like everyone that goes to the Gorge, of course, knows that song.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, and also at that Moore show, he kind of had a call to action to the audience that night with this idea of like, he kind of explained the whole Wilson chant. As we just demonstrated, and
They had like a whole centerpiece on ESPN and everything.
he said,
oh yeah, you're right. That might be where it started. He's like,
he asked the audience to get involved. Yeah.
He's like, I want them to chant the Wilson theme when
In the loudest stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's definitely like Fish. And that's like a great way to put that, because the way that this city felt when that was happening, that it was just pure togetherness, pure participation. Didn't matter if you're at this level of life or you're this level of life. It was go Hawks, and like that's kind of like what the Fish community is. You got lawyers out there, you got people who live in buses, and they're all friends. And it's one thing, it's music, and it's always about the music.
and that's kind of how we connected too. I mean,
That's how we connected.
Yeah, and like that really resonates with our kind of community here in the Northwest. It is a very kind of bohemian. Like it doesn't matter if we have certain things or live in certain houses, as long as we have our brotherhood and our connection together.
And I think that's why the uprising and and housing, and like how it's like pretty much just like taking over our way of life, like that's been here for a while. And that's what I love about this band, is because we played at the Central Saloon, like that was our last show. I forget the date when we played that, but it was a really awesome show, and it always feels good to play there, because that's where Alice in Chains played. That's where Mother Love Bone played. Yeah. All these great Seattle.
It's still his venue in Seattle. Like the history there, you could just feel it when you walk in the door. It's like there's a crazy vibe there.
And it's cool because we're doing that now, because like there's bands like Polyrhythmics, bands Swindler, like all of these awesome bands, Citrus, all of these amazing Seattle-based bands that are honestly making history at this place called the Nectar Lounge, because like they're like everybody wants to play there. Like people are making bands. There's bands like right
It's
now
such a
like
phenomenal venue.
Walian, like all of these other, but like Glyph, like all of these bands that come through that are playing and that are making a history in this time. Probably from around like 2014, I would say, up until now. You can go to that place and you're gonna see the community that's being built there, and to be a part of that, and not even have an album, but to have a headlining show at certain places. Yeah,
Are you guys headlining on the 16th?
we're headlining on the 16th.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fun to say, because there's a special individual, like, name drop. His name's Andy Palmer. He's a great booker, and he's honestly one of the reasons why we all get to do what we do, and just like his graces and his organization to make these things happen, and the chances that we've been given. Like, I knew it, so I bought this tiny little Roland Cube amp that runs off 8 AA batteries, and me and Max went down to the Fremont Fair, and we played, and Andy Palmer walked up in front of us and saw us, and that's how we got booked for our first Nectar Lounge show.
Nice.
Which I just thought was just so serendipitous to what this city is and how it works.
And there's like a small handful of those like the keystone of like indie bars that Seattle-based bands play, like Nectar, High Dive, Kraken, El Corazon, Barbosa,
Exactly.
Tractor, Crocodile.
Tractor.
Exactly. There is like a very like kind of tight knit, indie scene where the Seattle local bands tend to play and make their name. And
Barbosa.
Yeah, for sure. And it is really like Seattle is kind of like trying to establish themselves again with a new sound, because when you think of Seattle music, it is kind of stuck in the 90s.
Grunge.
Exactly.
I still think about Jimi Hendrix myself.
I love Heart.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix.
I love Heart.
So when I first moved to Seattle, I moved from Maine, and just the East Coast, for the type of music I'm into, like, there was like every week, you could go see like a Grateful Dead cover band, or like, there was like something going on every week. And when I moved here, I was like so confused. Like, I wasn't confused. I was like, I need like a music thing I can go to. And one of our now good friends through a message board, his name was Trey's the Jedi. Trey's the lead singer of Fish. He's like, go check out the Sea Monster. This band called McTuff plays there every Tuesday for free.
Joe Doria.
And Andy Coe.
Yep, Joe Doria, and then Andy Coe, who's now Andy Coe Band, that Grateful Dead cover band we were talking about earlier. And so I started going there. I was like 21, like early 20s at that time, and like like kind of showed up. I used to have dreads, and like met up with like all these people. Like the scene out here is a little bit older than it is in Boston or like on the East Coast. Like, there's a lot more young people involved. I wasn't like shunned at first, but it was like kind of like, who is this new guy, like, and then I just kept going, and like, and kind of like met the community, and that's kind of how I got turned on to this thing. And now, like, I think in the past like 6 or 7 years, this community has grown, and it's embraced a lot more of like the younger crowd, but there just wasn't as many bands that are doing the same type of stuff that we're trying to do at that time.
That's right.
Okay.
So I think like right now, like what we were like just to reel it back in, like what we were saying, there's like lots of new bands that are really, really good. They're playing really awesome music, and we're just really happy to be part of that community and that scene, and to like be spreading that type of music around, and to be involved in that, because it's a lot of fun.
Well, it's been really awesome to see
What
you
else
guys
would we
like
be doing?
come into this community, and now you guys have events where that community is now, experiencing itself at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How integrated do you guys feel in the community? Do you guys kind of feel like you want to stick like grassroots, or do you guys kind of want to spread down the West Coast, or do you guys want to go back to the East Coast, or where do you guys want to kind of take this? Do you guys want to keep touring here in the Pacific Northwest, or where do you guys want to go from here?
So I'll key in here. I have a lot of ambitions for these two gentlemen and the two other members of the band, Nate Thomason and I know the drummer's Bova.
Just Bova.
Yeah, just that's Bova.
So regional.
I don't think we even know his real name.
So I've got big plans to
animal.
get these guys on the map. I'd love to get spread down the West Coast and also on the East Coast because utilize Max's connections out there. And then I've got some dreams out there about even taking these guys to Japan or something interesting like that.
I'd love that.
We'd be huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Like literally, we'd be the biggest band ever.
Like weight wise.
And height.
Yeah, honestly, I've been to Japan. They treat tall people like royalty out there.
Oh my goodness.
Perfect.
I'm surprised Shaq ever came back.
It's great. It's incredible. Like I was really in this really great artist Tora Moi. So was Max. Probably Dylan. But I was like, where is he playing? Like, where can I see him? And he played at Numos here in Seattle.
Band in the chorus
Yeah. Great
Numos,
venue. But then I looked it up on the internet, where he was playing it because he was doing a world tour, and he was playing in Australia, but he was playing an arena, just to himself. And I was just like, so if I go to Australia, I'm gonna be playing an arena because he just went from Numos to an arena, like that easy. We could probably make that happen.
So what's next for you guys? I know you guys are you guys on tour?
New material, because that's another thing we should touch base on. We've had a lot of lineup changes over the years. It's just been me and
the band,
bass players and drummers just can't keep them down. It's just me
well,
and
drummers
Matt.
drum forever.
It's
locally.
It's always been the core has been me and Tanner, but we have a really solid bass. Like our good friend Nate has been playing bass with us for a long time, and he's not going anywhere. And then Bova kind of hopped in after our last drummer moved out of state. But like the core of Tryin was just me and Tanner kind of noodling around and
drum machine.
using a drum machine and just coming up with we'd be playing. We're like, oh man, this lick sounds good. Let's expand on that, and just keep adding ideas to that. And I mean, our writing style is very bare bones. We're not we're not classically trained musicians. We'll be okay, this is the key. These are the chords. This is where you have to be. This is where we're gonna go.
This is a hobby that became a real band that you guys
exactly.
take somewhere.
Yeah, we never knew it was gonna go as far.
Yeah.
So where do you guys want to go from here? Do you guys want to become a nationally touring band?
I just want to keep playing with bands that I listen to.
Yeah,
which is happening.
I really love I really love our Seattle music community. I would love to stretch out a little bit. We are good friends with some bands that are super nationally touring and have really
Yak Attack, Portland.
Yeah, Yak Attack. My sister is really good friends with this band called The Special from Boston, who both of these bands have extreme upward
potential, just
trajectory. They're nationally touring, playing these really cool festivals, playing all over the United States and all over the world. We just want to have fun and be comfortable, really. Everyone that's listening should definitely check out Yak Attack. They're really cool. If you like electronic music, they're really.
Are they on Spotify, YouTube?
Yeah,
Spotify, YouTube, everything. They're
that's
from Portland.
YAK.
They're live electronic music, so it's it sounds like it's electronic music but played live. So drums, bass, keyboard.
Yeah.
And it's
phenomenal.
Yeah, they're.
And you guys are touring. Well, not touring, but
we've played shows with them multiple times,
Yeah.
and they're very close friends of ours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your guys' show on the 16th, you guys are with Great American Trainwreck and Man on TV.
Yeah.
Also.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's talk about those.
And
guys,
Great.
too.
So Great American Trainwreck, they're great. It's kind of a funny mashup because our music's really different than Great American Trainwreck. They're more of Americana style, a little bit more folky.
Yeah, the folk
Yeah,
really,
Not folk punk, but like definitely more.
Yes,
really
classical
beautiful.
folk.
Yeah.
Steph, their
Yeah.
their lead singer and guitarist, she's insanely talented. And I've known her for years. We put out this thing on Facebook where we did like this promo video that's really funny. We filmed that at my house, so it was a lot of fun. And then her bass player Dan is one of my really good friends. I used to actually live with him. Yeah, there's great friends of ours, and I'm so glad to be on this bill with them because of what I've been wanting to play with them for years. But like our music is just so different, so it was kind of cool that we got, you know, like through Andy Palmer, who we were talking about earlier at Nectar Lounge, like he was just like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's mash up two like completely different genres of music and see how many different people we can bring out, you know. And
Usually because Max does a lot of the booking, you know, because like
Yeah.
Max is very, everybody knows him. So this show is actually my first booking. It was me,
Oh, yeah?
it was me booking my first show.
This is your first like, major
this
show
is
with
me
the band?
booking. Yeah, because usually I usually handle most of like the musical kind of like, you know, handling the set list and making sure a lot of things are everybody else like get the great musicians together, make sure we're all on the same page. That's my job. Max usually handles a lot of the press and other things like that and emails but this time, yeah, and like all I could think about was Max's friend Dan in the Great American Trainwreck. I was like all I get to do is pick the band.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick Dan's band. And I asked him, he's like right away said yes. And then like another band we should talk about is Man on TV from Tacoma. I think they're from Tacoma.
Yep.
Tacoma.
Yeah, from Tacoma.
Okay. Because I saw them.
I've noticed that a lot of bands that bill themselves
Yeah.
as Seattle local aren't really in Seattle.
And
they're of the area.
And Man TV is awesome. They're super young. Those guys are like in their like early mid 20s maybe. But I was gone in Boston. My father passed away. So Tryin did like 5 gigs without me, I think, right?
Yeah.
And they played with me on TV. But then I came back. We did a show with that band Yak Attack, who I was just talking about in Tacoma.
Spanish Ballroom.
And then I ended up going over to some mutual friends' houses and hanging out. The members of Man TV were at that show, and they came and partied with me, and I got to meet them all. And then I was like, oh, Tanner was talking about you guys. We had a great time. And then so now, like, every chance we get, like, we want to help them out because I think that they're really – and that's the cool thing about
It's like
having,
what
like, a
happened to
little
us.
bit of – even though we don't have much clout, having a little bit of clout and being like, hey,
We can get
I
you
like
a
this
show.
band. I
Yeah,
think
and-
you should give these guys a chance because they're really good.
And it's not so much about a clout. Like there's such a sense of community between the bands
Exactly.
in this area, and that's why I love so much about this area. Is like part of the disadvantage is that we're so closed off from kind of the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's hard to tour up here for national
Yeah.
bands.
I've
I've
one of
heard-
my favorite bands, Origami Angel. Like they just announced a tour. They ain't coming anywhere near here.
I know. I heard it was
And-
pretty sad. It's like some person's like, if you want to, that's what Seattle is
Yeah.
now. If you want to,
But
you can
the
come
benefit
here.
of that is that every indie band here is so tight knit, and everyone knows each other, and everyone supports each other. Once they get a showing here, they want their fellow indie bands, people they know, to get their shot on their show. And it means so much to everyone, and it makes everyone it makes this area such more of a, I don't know how to word this, but it just makes this area such a
It's special.
yeah, everyone knows each other. Everyone that gets a shot here, it's because they're talented, and because they have something that they want to play, something that they actually believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much that they want to become world famous, but because they want to share their sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for indie bands out here
Yeah.
as compared to the East Coast where it's such a
Saturated.
It's so saturated. It's so tour heavy. There's lots of bands that are rolling through. There's not a lot of space for local bands out there. I mean, there is, but
Yeah.
but like if like a venue like Nectar Lounge, for instance, like there would not be a lot of room for a local band to be playing there on a Thursday night, you know, and headlining, especially at where we're at with like no actual album put out yet, you know, no real like commercial success yet.
Yeah, we're just a band you can go see in
Yeah.
Seattle, and that's it.
But you guys have a following. You guys have
We
people
do.
that care.
Yeah.
And you guys have people that want to hear your kind of sound because it's honest.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that playing with you don't necessarily share your sound, but they share your passion and they share your drive to kind of bring your noise.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, and they're also just really good friends too.
And they go to festivals and they like to hang out, and
there's so many indie bands.
they deserve a shot, you know.
Exactly.
They deserve a shot, and that's honestly what I felt with Man on TV, because I was just like, no, I really do like these guys. I was like, these guys is a great Americana jam band.
And you guys aren't even in the same genre.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
we're
Man-
hardcore, dude.
Man on TV is kind of our genre.
Yeah,
We're hardcore and this guy's busted.
like no, man, we go nuts.
No, they get pretty dark
Yeah,
sometimes.
we get pretty dark. Like
I like
heavy,
it a little bit dark, though.
Heavy, like 85 BPM. I think we'll be at sometimes. It's be like you know,
Very
like
math rock of you.
yeah, very much. But Max is like Max keeps it in the 120, and then like we'll bust it out into the 85, and it's really fun to just be able to like know where you're at. Like Max was saying, like no, because I think that's what happens with most bands, and that's why we like, you know, Tryin is so special. Is like nobody, like you gotta, like we're gonna play choreographed parts. We have to, because people, if we didn't have to, we literally, because we did that one time at the Nectar. We played 2 songs for an hour, right, Max?
Mm-hmm.
We played 2 songs for an hour. And that was like our second show at the Nectar Lounge.
Yeah.
And our friend Rob Cochran, who's bass player for Swindler, was like, two songs is like, no, that's what me and Max used to do. We would really just go for it, you know, and like we never really felt like the need for song, you know, writing or structure was like a big thing. But then something kind of happened once we started getting more shows and sort of like needing to produce a product a little bit. Like it kind of like brought in the stresses a little bit. That's what I want to say to most bands. If you're listening and you're starting, like, don't push each other too hard. Make sure you give each other enough room to be able to do it, because like it's amazing.
Allow yourself to grow.
Yeah, because I think it was George Lucas who said it. He's like, just let people do what they want to do, and you're just going to be really amazed what they can do. But you know,
it's like you want that kind of containment, but also you want to be able to kind of explore a bit.
right? Yeah, and
Yeah, we definitely explore it. I
definitely
mean, we know James Brown. He used to find people if they missed a note. So
Yeah.
right, and their shirt wasn't tucked. They love me.
we are guaranteed to miss a few notes every show, no matter what.
I'm so glad Bootsy Collins got out of that band and started humming it.
So you guys said you don't have any albums. What is next for you guys? Like, do you guys have like a full length EP or an album?
I think some of our new material, you know, I think we're on the like I said, we don't want to rush it. We don't want to rush it.
We're trying to also save
just got our first headlining
enough
show.
money through playing gigs to afford to record an album, because
Right. If anybody's
Do you guys
listening,
want to do a full length album at some point?
we
of
would
course,
love
yeah.
to.
Or at least an EP.
Well, we
Actually, got excited when you hit us up, because I didn't realize it was a podcast. I was like, oh, this guy's got a studio. He wants to-
studio.
But I looked into it more. I'm like, oh, it's a podcast. Cool. I'd love to do a podcast.
Yeah, if anybody's out there listening, and you know you want to, you know, you're in school and you want to record a band, try it.
Yeah, actually, when I was
Seriously.
in school, so our good friends Swindler, they're also an awesome local band. You know, like heavy funk music with kind of the same ideas about leaving some open-endedness to improvisation as we do. One of my first, so I used to go to school at Tryin Community College, which for community college is an awesome music school. I met those guys, and I recorded one of their songs, which it was funny because me and my assistant who was helping me record, and then the entire band were super hungover, and the band never did anything with this recording, but I think it's awesome. It was really fun just getting to you know, like that was a awesome way to connect with this community and this culture. Was, you know, I was good friends with them at that time, and that's where I met Tanner like 3 weeks before that, because Willow, their keyboardist, threw a party, and that was where we talked, reeling that back. That was where me and Tanner met, because I recorded Tanner. And then I ended up recording Willow a few weeks later. Wasn't the best recording. We were all hungover as fuck. But
Sounds like a damn ghost.
The best band, like, kind of.
Actually, we were all hungover because Swindler played this house party for my friend Jesse, and it was funny. We were like, okay, we're all gonna be cool because we got to record a song tomorrow, and then just never happens. You know,
Yeah.
we all got hammered, but had a lot of fun.
It's a good headspace to be in where you don't quite know exactly what you're doing,
I
but you kind of know the drive behind what you want to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think the recording is awesome. Willow has it on his hard drive. He like when we're hanging out at his house, he'll pull, like if I ask him nicely, he'll pull it up and we'll listen to it. I definitely got an A on that project, so I'm not sure if it's like commercially.
Yeah, that's like basically where we're at though. It's like we need resources, like as
Yeah.
bands, you know, it's like especially as bands making
Yeah.
money as they do, you know. And
Yeah,
how
we don't
hard
make
they
a lot
work.
of money. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if any artists are out there looking don't play music as a side hustle to make money necessarily, because you're going to spend a lot more than you're
never
going to
gonna
make.
Yeah, exactly.
That's never gonna work.
Yeah, like, and you guys aren't really into this to make money. You're more into it to kind of just do what you guys want to do. And
Yeah, we
We
have
make,
a lot
we
of
make
fun.
enough
Sound
money
that
to
you
buy
wanna sound,
shirts
you
so
wanna
people
spread.
can have a shirt and stickers.
Oh, Dylan, you have some
I
stickers?
do love
I do have
stickers.
some
Yeah, everybody loves stickers. We should have brought.
Should I have some stickers, please?
Yeah, we
Let's-
brought you a
let's
bunch of
think-
stickers. Oh, shit, I forgot the
fuck
goddamn
yeah.
cookies in the...
Hey, yo. All right, hold on. Let me put this on the. Yo, if anyone wants Nectar on the 16th, please come by. Like, I already bought my tickets and my friends some tickets.
Jeez.
If you guys are local.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, dude. As soon as I heard you guys, I wanted you guys on the show.
That's
you
the
guys have such
thing,
a
man.
great
Don't ever
sound.
let bands act too cool, man. Every single band is very grateful for every ticket bought.
Such great stickers.
Well, yeah, the logo's cool because the little guy on top of the Y, he's pulling the dot over the I.
That's the
he's-
try
he's
guy.
trying to drag it over.
But yeah, for sure. Anyone who's local listening to this, please come down to Nectar on the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock the doors open, or 7 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock doors open. Please come by. See Tryin. Also will be there. Will be Great American Trainwreck and Man on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Great local bands. So you guys said you do have goals outside of touring in Seattle. Like, what would be your guys' like kind of dream tour? Where do you guys want to go? Do you guys want to go to Europe? Do you guys want to go to Australia? Do you guys want to, like, where do you want to spread
I mean,
this
our
out
dream
to?
tour would be the Japan tour.
Oh,
Obviously,
Japan?
because we all want to go to Japan. But,
Yeah.
I mean, just play on the East Coast would be really cool because through my connections out there, and then also my sister is heavily involved in the music the music community in Boston. It would be fun. We could get a bunch of gigs out there pretty easily, but it would be hard to lug gear out there or rent gear. You know, it's expensive to tour, especially like if you tour directly across the country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think like our main ambition right now is to keep playing so we can afford to get some studio time, record an album, and then our wheelhouse is really in the Pacific Northwest. We love playing out here. We have lots of friends out here. We always have a good time collaborating with all the other bands that are in our direct community and all our friends. So I think
our friends Glyph
we'll
and
be playing
Bellingham.
shows here every month or so. In Seattle, at least, there'll be a show. We're playing up in Bellingham on March 4th with Dylan's band Glyph at the Shakedown. That's going to be a fun show. So
Shakedown in where's that at?
Bellingham, Washington.
Bellingham.
Okay.
So
Gookiest little town.
we've played in Portland before a few times with our good friends Lost Ox. They're also a great local band. Really, really nice guys. Really, really really.
Just talented.
Yeah, just extremely
Just
talented music.
extremely talented.
They're very tight, but they their music has loose like a loose end to it at the same time.
These guys been playing outside of Seattle as well. Played many times at Island Jam Festival, which is out on San Juan Island. If you haven't heard of it, go check it out. Island Jam is one of the best parties of all time.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, the camping's super cheap, and you get a reason to go out to Friday Harbor.
This last year at it was Tryin, Glyph, Sponge, and Yak Attack helped put that lineup together.
Another great band from Oregon, Sponge.
Sponge, yeah.
You're like, come on.
Yeah, just the entire Pacific
It's
Northwest.
just unraveling. Like the bands like Fish and other things like like String Cheese Incident and all these other great like jam bands that produce these things. They're like broken spigots that are just pouring out bands, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
And we're one of them. We're a drop from that spigot,
Mhm.
and it's just like, and it's always in this like river ocean of love, man. Right?
Yeah, and like our main philosophy is to just try to do something different and new every single time we play, and just to really embrace our own sound, because again, like me and Tanner particularly like are not professionally trained musicians. Like we learn music from having mentors, and then also just listening to lots of music and trying to replicate that. But in doing that, you create a very unique sound, I think.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our mentality, is to try to always be true to yourself and how you feel when you're playing music. I've told Tanner this a whole bunch of times, but like when we would jam back in the day and like just get like really into just get really loose and like do just kind of like like flying by the seat of our pants, like not really knowing where we were going, like you will start to like not even through being on drugs, like you'll start to hallucinate, like just close your eyes and play, and like there would be memories that would come up in my head where it was like it's like a childhood memory that I hadn't even thought about in 25 years, and
Right.
It's a beautiful thing when you reach that area where anything can happen, I guess.
Yeah, like when I'm playing with Max and we're getting to those. I think he said it the best thing. We were listening to the Grateful Dead once, and he's just like, yeah, you can hear Jerry just digging for it. It's like this one spot that's just not really working out, or at least the musicians who are playing it or improvising don't really feel like it's like working out. But when I play with Max and I feel that way, and I feel like I've underperformed in this live improvised situation, that's generally better than I've ever thought it would be. And that's because I'm pushing myself. I'm pushing my subconscious.
You're calling outside the lines.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm becoming, I'm growing. I'm uncomfortable, and that's okay because I have my band members.
Well,
Like,
also,
it doesn't matter what I do. Like, I've got Max. Max is gonna have my back, and especially because you're constantly just like looking over the edge, like, oh, like Dylan got this great picture of me, and it's really psychedelic. But I'm playing, and it's probably like
It's
like,
hard
whoa,
not to become
whoa.
self-conscious.
Yeah, exactly. But like you're so lost in this type of music, and you're just like, whoa, you're like trying to hold on to these reins of this crazy black stallion that you're just like, and everybody else in the band's riding one too, and everybody's watching you, and you don't want to fall, but you just keep doing these things. It's amazing.
well, there's also been times where like we've played a show and I've been like, man, I thought I played horrible. That sounded like shit. And then we listen back to the recording. I'm like, wow, actually that was
It sounded
probably,
really good.
that was probably the best I've ever played.
Probably the best. Yeah, it's probably the best.
Yeah, you can never really tell, like, when you're, because again, just the nature of taking risks every single time you play.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sounds good, sometimes it doesn't.
And
And
people-
sometimes you
and-
think you played really good, and then you read this, you're like, well, I should have done something completely different with
And when
that,
people are in the
with that
crowd,
opportunity that I had.
and when people are in the crowd and those opportunities come about, it's like it's true. Like with jam music, if there's people there in the crowd and people are digging it and feeling it, it's gonna affect the music, which is great too. Because like the community and the participation of people in the crowd is honestly what makes it better. Yeah, it's like I can't just play to an empty room, and we do that all the time. It's called practice.
Also,
but
also my mentality too, like, is like, there's, and this has happened to me with musicians that like idols of mine, like massive musicians. When they play a show and I come up to them like, oh man, that sounded so good, and then they're like, oh, I played like shit. That I thought I played like shit. I'm like, well, don't fucking tell me that. Like, so when like after the show, and anyone comes up to me, even if I didn't think I did a good job, and they're like, hey, you play good, like even if I didn't think I played good, like I'm always grateful for someone to say you played good. That's just the best feeling in the world for somebody like,
because they're there.
hey, I really loved that. It was great.
You just have something to give, is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like in the
Yeah,
fact that
man. Like
even if it's not like world renowned, it's the fact that you were able to give something to somebody means
Yeah.
all the difference in the world.
it's just like, I don't want to like, like me, like I'm a huge attention. Like I'm just hungry all the time. That's
Yeah.
all I want.
Well, every performer has to be.
But I want. But that's Max. 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 Like I want to speak for him.
You're an attention.
No. Sometimes
Not
he's
really.
not. He's not though. He gets
shy.
uncomfortable up there.
I'm uncomfortable right now.
I'm uncomfortable right now. But me, I'm just like, no, come on, Max, let's go. We got this. And it's like I said earlier, like nobody does it like Max does. So it's just it's always just better to have somebody up there that you trust, and especially when you're doing this, because you can choreograph a bunch of songs, and that's great. That's super fun, and I've done that too. But when you're looking at that person, you're like, I know all your tricks. I know everything that you're gonna do, and I have something for that. That's a true friendship. Like that was built out of this. That's a true way of communicating without words. We're using music, and people will see that, and you can play something. You can watch somebody in the crowd, and you'll, like a split second later, you're like, watch them do that, and you're like, because it's not planned. It's not like somebody's like, hey, you missed that one part. You're like, yeah, I know.
So I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. But that's the thing, though, is the people who are coming out to the Nectar Lounge and wanted to hear this type of music, they don't give a fuck. The music is what matters.
They're not there for a perfect performance. They're there for something that's real.
100%.
Yeah. We have friends in our community that are out, and these are, again, like going back to when I came here, I was a younger kid. I met some of these people that are older than me. Like they're out, like I can't even believe. I mean, some of them are retired and stuff, but they, they're out like 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, I can't
people who've seen Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
they're coming to see us.
I can't do that because I have a job and I can't control myself. If I go out, I'm going to be drinking.
Well, going to see Led Zeppelin was going to see a local show one day.
It was
going to see a band full of guys that weren't renowned.
Yeah.
Until they became renowned one day.
Exactly, like what Led Zeppelin played at the.
They didn't get good reviews.
Yeah, exactly, and
that's where they got their name from.
And it was like they're under.
Was that they were going to go down like a Zeppelin balloon?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they played at Green Lake, and that was like before.
Really?
That was before they.
The 70s?
Yeah, and in the 60s.
Oh,
I
wow.
think they played there in 1970.
In 1970.
At Green Lake?
Yeah, they played in Green Lake.
Green Lake is a neighborhood in Seattle, in northeast Seattle.
There used to be like a floating. It wasn't floating. There was like a stage that was out in the water. There's still the bandstands around there. It's like
it's a crew.
It's like kind
it's
of the
rowing now.
It's like the west corner of Green Lake, and there's a bunch of signs that you can read about, just like plaques you can read about shows that were there.
The Grateful Dead played the last show there.
The Grateful Dead didn't actually play on the water. They played in the field, and there's actually a recording on an archive of that Grateful Dead show. It's pretty funny. There's like a guy playing the flute. It's not the best Grateful Dead show ever, but it's
so
pretty
much to the area.
Yeah.
There was
there was like probably like 7,000 or 8,000 hippies just like running around Green Lake. That it would have been definitely would have been a fun Saturday afternoon.
It's a circus, man. When the Grateful Dead comes to town or Fish comes to town, it's a whole circus, man.
Oh yeah.
Barnum Bailey's just showed up.
It means so much to the area. There's so many bands here, even if they're not local, they do mean a lot to the area, whether historically or just like it means so much to this community. That we do have a piece of their culture and a piece of their history here. So, as we wrap up here, before your guys' show on the 16th, is there anything you guys want to shout out? Anything you guys want to?
Mind Goblin.
Mind Goblin, yeah. Look out for me and Dylan Doherty's new band with our buddy Dan Lundy and Dylan Johnson. We have formed a space opera.
No kidding.
About snails.
And it's really fun. It's
famous space creatures. Snails.
It's really fun at that Central Saloon show. So Man on TV, who's opening up for us.
They're pretty much on tour with us right now.
Yeah.
They're on tour with us right now.
They were supposed to open up, but their guitarist,
bass player
got
sick.
One of the members got sick, so we had a spot to fill. I'm not sure.
Tummy.
But but Mind Goblin made their world premiere at the Central Saloon. There's no recording
Historic
of it, unfortunately.
Central Saloon, dude.
But I was in the crowd, man, and I was just grinning and smiling. Their songs are so much fun. They were like, there's a whole like backstory to them, and it was like really funky, and like the lyrics were intriguing, and just like it was just really, really fun.
I just feel like it's a really fun thing for people in our age group because we all grew up with like the Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob and like all these
How
like
old are you guys?
wacky ass shit. I'm 32. Dylan is 31.
34.
I'm 27.
You're 27.
I'm catching up to you guys.
Exactly.
So you don't even know what SpongeBob is.
You-
Of course.
Of course. I'm Dirty Dan. Yeah, no.
Cool.
Cool. I'm Dirty Dan.
Well, then of course we have the upcoming gig at the Shakedown on March 4th.
Where's
Yes.
that? Seattle?
Yeah,
Bellingham,
Bellingham.
Washington.
Shakedown at Bellingham.
That's going to be with Man on TV, Tryin, and Glyph as well.
Gotcha.
Yes.
But for sure, catch these guys. The show on the 16th at Nectar Bar.
Nectar Lounge
Nectar
in
Lounge.
Fremont.
in
PB&J
Fremont, Seattle.
presents. You can get your tickets on Facebook, which you look up Tryin Music on Instagram. And we all have a link on both of those pages where you can buy tickets directly through the Nectar Lounge, which will give us credit for you buying tickets.
or you could just go to the Nectar Lounge's
Yes.
website, or I think there's
Or just
also,
walk up, too.
There's also a we posted a thing on Instagram as well. But I mean, if you have Facebook and you want to directly
Yeah.
support us, the best way is going through finding our page, which is Tryin Seattle on Facebook, and just following that link, because that will go directly to us.
And your guys' handle on Instagram will be on the video here in the top right. Tryin Music.
Mm-hmm.
At Tryin Music. That's where you're going to find them on Instagram. I will be putting all their links in the description below. But thank you guys so much for being
Thank
on.
you so much. This
Thank
is
you
great.
so much, man.
No
Thanks for having
problem.
us.
Anytime. Anything to promote our local bands, and catch these guys on the 16th. They will be touring up in the Northeast. Check these guys out. I will be putting their links below. Thank you guys so much. And this has been Moving the Needle with Tryin, local Seattle band. Thank you so much, and we'll be playing them out.